Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Now before I get into today's video, I just want to give a big thanks to all of you guys for liking and subscribing to my channel. As of today, I have hit 700 subscribers. And so I just want to give a huge thanks to all of you guys. I don't know how it happened, but thank you. And so if these videos, help you grow in your faith, continue to like and subscribe to my channel, and please spread the word too. And that would help this channel out so much. So again, thank you for all your support, and I hope to give more content to you guys in the future. And so with that said, let's get into today's video. How do I know what my vision is, and how do I find it? In other words, what does God want me to do for the rest of my life? Have you ever asked that question? Well, that's the topic for today's video. And so if you're interested, let's get into it. Now, a quick disclaimer before we get into the video. A lot of the information that I'm going to share with you actually comes from this book called Visioneering by Andy Stanley. And this is one of my favorite books when it comes to finding your vision. And that was one of the books that I actually referenced in a previous video called Top 5 Christian Books That Will Help Grow Your Faith. And so if you're interested in that video, you can click the link somewhere up here for more information. Why is vision so important? Helen Keller said this. She said, "The most pathetic person in this world is someone who has sight but no vision." The reason why vision is so important is because it gives significance to the meaningless details of our lives. Now, let's be pretty honest. Life can be pretty mundane. It can be pretty boring, doing the same thing over and over again. Sometimes life can feel like another routine. But when you place your day-to-day routine within the context of a vision, then everything changes. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have a job of filling bags with sand every single day, right? That'll get pretty boring, pretty mundane. There's nothing glamorous about filling bags with sand. But those bags of sand can also protect your house from an oncoming flood. And so as you fill those bags with sand, that gives you meaning, significance, and purpose behind filling those bags of sand, because you know that it will serve to protect your house from an oncoming flood. And so a clear vision enables you to see things differently. And that's why vision is so important. So how do I find my vision? How is a vision born? Well, I want to read a couple of verses from the book of Nehemiah. But before we do, I want to give you a little bit of context and a little bit of background. Now, the Babylonian Empire, they invaded Judah and they completely destroyed the city of Jerusalem. They tore down the temple and the walls of Jerusalem came down. And so a lot of the Israelites were held captive under Babylonian captivity, and a lot of them were also resettled in the Babylonian Empire. And as time went on, Nehemiah heard about the plight of Jerusalem and wanted to go back to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. And this is what we know about a God-given vision and how it begins. A God-given vision begins as a concern. Let's read Nehemiah chapter 1, verses 2 to 4. It says this: "Hanani, one of my brothers, came from Judah with some other men, and I questioned them about the Jewish remnant that survived the exile and also about Jerusalem. They said to me, 'Those who survived the exile and are back in the province are in great trouble and disgrace. The wall of Jerusalem is broken down and its gates have been burned with fire.' When I heard these things, I sat down and wept." So when Nehemiah heard about what happened to the walls of Jerusalem, he felt this intense emotion inside of his heart. He had this concern for his people and for the walls of Jerusalem. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to go back and I'm going to rebuild Jerusalem. I'm going to rebuild the walls." And so God's vision for your life will always start as a concern. Now, He won't give you an exact picture of what that will look like, but He will impress on your heart something that needs to be done. It's going to consume your mind. It's going to consume your heart to the point where you just can't let it go. A good question to ask yourself if you're trying to clarify your vision is, what breaks my heart? A lot of times when people try to figure out what they want to do for the rest of their life, they always ask, what will give me the most money? What will give me the most status? this, but I'm challenging you today that if you really want to know what God's vision is for your life, ask yourself this question and before God, what breaks my heart? And how can I give my life, how can I give my resources in alleviating that issue? And so a God-given vision will always begin as a concern. It will always break your heart. Now, another way that a vision is born is that a vision is born out of prayer. Let's continue reading that same passage that we just read in verse 4, and it says this: "When I heard these things, I sat down and wept. For some days I mourned and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven." You know, oftentimes when we get a vision, we get so excited because we want to implement it right away. But what we see from the story of Nehemiah is he received a vision from God, and he didn't come up with the strategy right away, but he spent time in prayer with God. And this is what we learn about vision, is that vision without prayer is fruitless. There is no point. Vision and prayer must go hand in hand. They go together. And the only way that that vision will continue to stay fresh and alive in your life is really through persistent prayer. Because oftentimes visions will come and go, but the only way that you'll know if that's the vision that God has given to you is that you continue to pray for it every single day. Just like Nehemiah, you're going to mourn, you're going to fast, and you're going to pray about it every single day. And so I want to challenge you and I want to encourage you today is, what are you praying for today? What is something that God has captivated your heart with? And how are you seeking His wisdom and His counsel in helping living out that vision that God has given to you? Are you praying for it? Are you mourning for it? And are you fasting for it? You know, I believe that God has a vision for everyone in this world. He has a vision for your life, for your career, for your family, and whatever that may be. I encourage you to go before God and seek it. Ask God, God, what breaks my heart? And what is something that I need to pray about every single day? And once you find that vision, may He give you the strength, the perseverance, and the resilience to fight for that vision in your life. I hope you enjoyed that video. Please like and subscribe to this channel and let me know in the comment section below what breaks your heart. I'm very curious. Thanks, take care, and God bless.